What's up everybody, it's Jarvis from Strong Dragon Training, and today I just want to build off a little bit from the video that I posted yesterday on the pushing exercises. So yesterday we worked out the chest or the pectorals, the shoulders or the deltoids, more exactly the anterior and the mid deltoid, and the triceps. So today I'm going to show you guys different types of stretches that you can do to stretch those muscles really well. As I mentioned previously, stretching is very important, so I just want to give you guys more tools to know how to stretch, the different kinds of stretch you can do out there, see which one works best for you. Let's dive right into them. The first muscle we're going to hit with the stretch is the chest or the pectoral muscles. This particularly is my most favorite stretch because I feel it the best in both my pectoral major and minor. Now, how I feel in my minor is taking note of this position right here. I am very close to the object I'm pushing against. So by having your shoulder joints so close, you target the pectoral minor at a high rate. Moving away from the object and having my forearm flat against the object and my elbow at shoulder height, I am now stretching the mid fibers of the pectoral major. Please notice it can be done against a wall, it can be done against a pole, any kind of object you have in your house or in your gym or whatever you are, you can do this stretch on. Moving my elbow lower, as low as possible. In this case, we are targeting now the upper fibers of the pectoral muscle. Remember that the pectoral has horizontal fibers, so you can change which fibers you are targeting by simply moving your arm upper and lower. And as you notice now, my elbow is moving higher, so now I am stretching the lower fibers of the pectoral major muscle. This allows you to get a full muscle stretch. Every single stretch is held for 30 seconds and is done equally on both sides. One thing I want you to take note of is going into the stretch and coming out of the stretch must be done very gently, but also be aware of your forearm not being flat against the object you're pushing against and pumping the stretch out while you're doing the stretches. This has a high risk of injuring your muscle, your tendon, and your ligaments, causing a sprain or a strain. In the second version of the pectoral stretch, you can see how my arms go behind my back and I'm attempting with my hands to grab a hold of my elbows. What you're trying to do over here is pull the elbows as close to each other as possible, at the same time pull the shoulders as far back as possible to get as much of a stretch as you can out of your pectoral major and minor together. Now notice that in this stretch in particular, if your shoulders are very tight, you will feel more of a stretch in your deltoid muscles than you will in the pectoral. In this third variation, very similar to the second one, you are now trying to clasp your hands together and put them behind your head. Your elbows at this point are trying to pull back as far as possible, at the same time your head pushes against your hands in order to get as much stretch as possible in your pectoral and major and minor. Notice that your shoulders again are too tight. You will feel barely any stretch in your pectoral muscles. For this stretch in particular, it's a hybrid stretch between a front deltoid stretch and the pectoral muscle stretch. So you're trying to put your hand against the wall nice and flat and then twist your body away from the wall as much as possible. You will feel a huge stretch in your anterior deltoid but also in your pectoral major muscle. So this is a great way to target both muscles at the same time. This one is a dedicated shoulder stretch. You will feel very little in your pectoral muscle. What you're trying to do is with your hand, grab a hold to maybe a wall or a pole, wherever you have available, at shoulder height, and then twisting away from the arm as much as you can. Notice that only my palm makes contact with the object. Also, my head is twisted away and looking downwards from the arm that I'm stretching. This allows a much better stretch in the anterior deltoid. Always remember a 30-second hold on both of the arms is needed. Also, please refrain from any jerky movements or pumping, as I mentioned previously. In this move over here, I'm targeting the mid deltoid. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to bring the arm that I'm stretching, keep it as straight as possible. The opposite arm grabs around the forearm and pulls across the body as much as you can. If you also notice my head, I am bending my head sideways away from the arm that is being stretched. Just like with the anterior, this one allows a better mid deltoid stretch. And finally, moving into the tricep stretch. This in particular is my most favorite one. What you're trying to do is bring the arm that is being stretched up and behind your head, and either you have the option of grabbing your elbow or your wrist depending on how your flexibility is. Your goal is to pull the arm as far across the body as possible, and then your head gets to lift up and push ever so gently against the arm that is being stretched. This allows all of the heads of the triceps to get the stretch that they need. point. Please notice again, there is very easy breathing going throughout the exercise and there is no pumping or jerking going on. Another variation of the stretch is this motion over here where I keep the arm that is being stretched always straight. It is very important not to bend the elbow because at that point you are going to go into the upper back and you are completely taking the triceps out of the equation. Keep the arm straight and pull it across the body as far as you can without twisting your body.